What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Miller, if you like. So let's get into it. So today, we're going to take a look at the Cowboys offense versus the Commanders defense. But first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So just to follow up, so we are over 100 subscribers. So I think what I'm going to do is give something away a week from today. So next week, Saturday, I think it's not think, I know it's going to be a Visa gift card. This way, it'll be useful wherever you want to use it. The amount is to be determined. I think the first time we gave away something like $30 in an Amazon gift card. It'll be more this time than that in a Visa gift card. But yeah, so next Saturday, that'll be the day. I'll make sure to reiterate it on my episode. So when I do tomorrow's, pregame episode and the defensive side, I'll reiterate it. When I do the post game, I'll reiterate it. When we autopsy the game film midweek next week, I'll reiterate it. Friday when I do my episode, again, same thing, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so look forward to it a week from today. Next week, Saturday. It won't be right in the beginning of the episode, but it will be within the first 5 minutes of the episode, just to give it a random time so that everybody has a fair chance. So listen, you only have to listen to the first 5 minutes of the episode if you want, but I prefer you listen to the whole thing. But hey, first 5 minutes, and then I'll do the giveaway sometime within that first 5 minutes. It could be in the first minute and a half. It could be 4 minute and 30-second mark. Who knows? And then, we'll move forward from there. But I want to say thank you to you guys for getting me there. I love you guys, and hopefully we just continue to grow. So with that being said, some interesting things around the Cowboys this week before we get into the film. Trayvon Diggs is going to be out this week with a concussion slash who knows? I don't know. An injury from home. Very interesting. We don't really have many details. It's pretty vague right now. The good news is it looks like we're going to get CeeDee Lamb back. Looks like we're going to get Booker back. Looks like we're going to get Kevontae Turpin back. And it does also look like players such as DeMarvion Overshown are on the upswing. Still waiting to hear what's going on with Siobhan Ravel. Kalen Carson's coming back. So the Cowboys are getting some reinforcements. I don't know what that means. The defense is going to be much, much better. But we'll see, right? We'll see. It can't hurt to have new players to try out. All right, so let's take a look at the beginning here. So first thing I wanted to look at, a big play by the Cowboys right here in the Giants game. And the reason why I'm going all the way back to the Giants game with the film is because this is the closest to what we have right now, right? So you have on the field Tyler Booker, you have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens at the same time. But I do believe the main difference in this one is actually, no. Brock Hoffman was also in the lineup by this time as well. So it's a little bit different, or actually a very similar, sorry, I didn't mean different. I mean similar to what we're going to see this week. So let's just kind of take a look and see how these things gel. So the Cowboys come out in the shotgun here, right? And they have their running back to the side of them. The Giants do match a hair and nickel, 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. I see the tight end down tight to the line of scrimmage. Down at the end, it looks like it's Luke Schoonmaker is actually tight to the end, and it looks like Jake Ferguson, so we got 2 tight ends here, is split out wide, right? Pickens, you got him in the slot there. You got CeeDee Lamb over the top here. So one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing this week is how these two run their routes together, right? So as you see, Jake Ferguson's going in motion here, and the Giants kind of follow him and reset. So now we know this is man coverage. At least, that's what Dak Prescott is alerting to. He's saying, hey, this is going to be man coverage here. We got our play. Let's go run it. So now you have on the top of the drop, boom. So you have the first guy blitzing, but then you have a delayed blitz here, right? And you have these guys kind of covered up. This guy's beating that tight end here, but it looks like the other tackle's in good position to kind of help out, which is exactly what he does here. In the meantime, you've got Pickens and CD running their route right here. So you got a nice triangle here by the defenders, right? One guy here, and a safety here. They have to make a decision on who to go with. In this particular case, they both decide to go with CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott hits George Pickens. This was a huge play this game. This pretty much sealed it for the Cowboys. I mean, the next play, Dak Prescott scrambles up, and gets a little bit more yards to put the Cowboys in position to pretty much win this game. This was overtime, but this was a great play here, great play design. So it looks like the Washington Commanders are going to be very, very vulnerable in the passing game. Our offensive line has done a great job in pass protection. It does look like the Commanders will be without, on the defensive side, Dorrance Armstrong this week. So, and I know we're all familiar with Dorrance, and we're like, Dorrance ain't nobody, but Dorrance does have 5.5 sacks already this season. So he's doing something right. And he's actually pretty decent in the run game as well. He's definitely their best pass rusher off the edge. So take a look here. Right, the Raiders set up in a very similar formation to the Cowboys, except they have 4 split out wide right away. Commanders match it very similar to the way that the Giants matched it when the Cowboys did this, which is nickel, right? So let's take a look at how it goes here. So Geno Smith is up at the line of scrimmage calling a play. He doesn't make any checks. He decides he's going to run the play as called. Boom, he gets to the top of his drop. That guy's going down. He loses his footing. So now you got a pretty clean pocket. But you also have some pretty decent coverage here. This is a long developing play. Geno has to take his time. What happens? This guy's flat-footed, looking back at the quarterback, which means the inside leverage that he was supposed to play with to keep this play from going over the top is gone. And now this guy's out of position. And the Cowboys, with George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb, are going to feast on plays like this all Sunday long. This one ends up being a 61-yard touchdown pass to Tucker for the Raiders here. And, I mean, I believe the Cowboys are going to be able to do this as consistently as they want to, right? So let's take a look here at another play for the Cowboys, right? So this is the Cowboys being under center. What do we know that the Cowboys love to do this year? They love to run the football, and then they love to attack via play action. So let's take a look and see how that works here against the Giants. So boom, snap of the ball. Giants are already thinking run because they have 8 guys in the box, and Cowboys are showing run with the 2 tight end set and the 2 wide receivers close together. But what do? Boom, play action. Now, Dak Prescott comes back up, and the whole line is holding up pretty well except for this guy, but this guy wasn't supposed to hold up. He was supposed to kind of let this guy go and kind of be an outlet out here once all the defense turns their back, but Prescott is looking and he wants the big play. Now, similar to before, right? So CeeDee Lamb is screaming underneath, but just like we saw with Trey Tucker, this guy Pickens, if the ball would have been coming to him, so he would have been running full speed, he would have been open to that middle of the field because there was no safety there, and there could have been a touchdown there. Either way, it's still a big completion, and CD gets down the field. I showed you to show that, just like the play that we just saw with Geno Smith and Tucker, also George Pickens is going to have the opportunity to score that over the top. Or, hey, maybe it's CD, he's going underneath, and now, he's getting that pass. The reason I think the pass went to CD there is not because George Pickens wasn't open. I think George was open. I think at this time in the season, Dak Prescott had much more confidence in CeeDee Lamb and was still developing that rapport with George Pickens. With CeeDee Lamb being out all this time, Dak has developed some of that chemistry with George Pickens as well. And I think if he sees this play all over again and sees George one-on-one across the middle of the field with no safety help and all that room to lay the ball up there, you're going to get the same result as we just got on that 61-yard touchdown pass to Trey Tucker. So it's going to be interesting to see, if the Cowboys are able to take some advantage because they're going to have opportunities here against the Commanders. Once again, this is last week against the Chicago Bears, right? This is what sets the Cowboys up to have plays like this. It set the Bears up to have plays like this. So the Bears have, they had their tight end. They motioned them over to the other side. One running back in the backfield, and there's some receivers split out. And look at how the Commanders match this. This is a pretty light box here. They're kind of walking this guy down a little bit, but this guy's not really, he's a corner, man, or a safety, I guess. So, he's walking down inside the line of scrimmage. So now they have 7 guys. This is what we call a neutral box, right? 6 guys would be a light box. 8 guys would be a heavy box. 7 guys, that's what we call a neutral box, right? So you can run into that neutral box. You can throw, audible out of it, throw, but this is not what we call trying to stop the run heavy, right? And the Commanders traditionally don't this year. This year, they are not a let's put an eighth guy in the box type of team and dare you to throw the ball because their secondary is compromised. They're also not a let's put an eighth guy inside of the box team because they have big old Daron Payne usually sitting in the middle, and he's kind of a beast here when it comes to controlling the line of scrimmage. Now, on this particular rep, he's actually not in the game. He's on the sideline, probably taking a little bit of rest, and it looks like the Chicago Bears take advantage of it, right? Now, boom. On the snap of the ball, you got a nice block here. I don't know what this guy's doing, but he's taking himself out of the play. You got a block here, block here, block here, block, block. Now you also have a lead guy as well, and this guy, Frankie Louvo, who's a pretty good player, is the only guy who can pretty much try to make the play in the hole, right? So he gets caught up in the trash here, even before this guy gets a block on him. And what does that allow this guy to do? Get right outside. Now, he just kind of runs into the defender here because Swift is not, even though his namesake is Swift, he's not very swift when it comes to things moving fast. He actually didn't have to run into that guy and go to the ground there, but still ended up being a really good play. And what I like about seeing this on the Commanders tape is we have a guy like Javonte Williams who, honestly, if that guy went low like that, Javonte would probably just run him over and keep going. But look at this here. It's a very similar setup, right? Very similar setup to what the Bears just did to the Commanders. Tight ends on that side, two guys tight to the line of scrimmage. You have him in there on shotgun. So let's see what happens. Motion comes on the snap of the ball. Boom. They fake it to CeeDee Lamb, and they pitch it out right here to Javonte Williams. Now, when you look at the pitch, you got block here, block, block. And then you got two guys coming out there at the point of attack to give him another, lane to run through. So if this block could have been sustained here, which is Brock Hoffman's guy, if he could have sustained that block, this play would have gone for much longer. But it did still go for 14 yards because Javonte is just a really good running back. You see for 22 yards. You see how they didn't run into his guy. Now, at the end there, you end up getting a fumble by Javonte. And we're not here to discuss that because we broke that down before. But what we are here to say is the scheme fit, right? Even with Brock Hoffman not getting his guy fully secured, Javonte was still able to break two and through the line of scrimmage and ride his blocks all the way down the field for 22 yards. So not only do the Cowboys have an opening in the run game to be able to move the ball pretty well on the Commanders, they also have a lot of openings in the pass game that we just looked at a little bit earlier. So I'm expecting the Cowboys to score plenty of points this game. I'm excited to see because, like I said, we got to see some of that earlier stuff in the Giants game with, not Kevontae Turpin, with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on the field at the same time. And I do feel like the way that George Pickens is playing now, plus the trust Dak already has and the rapport Dak already has with CeeDee Lamb, this is going to be a dangerous combo. And then you also have people like Jake Ferguson and Kevontae Turpin who will eat in the middle of the field in the short game. A, Kevontae Turpin can take a short pass a long way, and B, Jake Ferguson can hit those seam routes, can be your third down monster to keep the chains moving. And then also with Javonte on the field, now he's gonna see lighter boxes as well. We already saw that the Commanders like to go light to neutral box. If you put CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on the outside, they're definitely going to opt for light box most of the time because the Cowboys have proven they can get explosives in the pass game this season. So if I'm the Commanders, I put a shell over the top of the Cowboys offense and I force them to beat me with the run game. And then I'm hoping I can do what Carolina did to them, which is overwhelm them on the inside and penetrate a lot to make sure that I'm getting that running back before he can get ahead of steam. I don't think the Commanders have the personnel to pull that off. So it's going to be interesting here because, tomorrow when we break down the defensive side, just to give you guys a little bit of preview, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to stop the Commanders either. So I think this is going to be a game where, if I was a betting man, I would be hammering the over. I'm going to be starting a lot of guys, in daily fantasy. I do like to do daily fantasy. So I will be starting a lot of guys from this game in daily fantasy because I expect this to be a lot of yards, a lot of points, very little defense, and we'll see how it goes from there. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter at JMillerIYL. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@outlook.com, knockersonthebottom@gmail.com. Leave any comments, questions below, anything specific you want me to cover. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you guys. Remember, giveaway is going to be a week from today, next week, Saturday, during that episode. But I love you guys. I'm your host, Jay Miller, if you like. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.